A few things have contributed to fresh scrutiny on Miami city government, where drama, dysfunction, and evidence of corruption can sometimes seem like part of the DNA, where staffers stay silent and reap benefits or speak out and pay consequences. A civil jury, for instance, found one commissioner weaponized city government against rivals. Prosecutors charge another, now former commissioner, with corruption-related crimes. And since Mayor Francis Suarez's ill-fated run for U.S. president, a slow drip of unanswered questions about how his net worth exponentially increased, about his travel and activities at public cost, and his absence at City Hall. The reason you know about any of this is because news reporters work to unearth and document and make the people who elected them aware, and in this case, not without stalling, blocking, and blowback from those electeds themselves. Miami Herald's Joey Fletches, Miami government reporter, and Sarah Blasky, investigative reporter, have been the tip of the spear on some groundbreaking reporting, compiling a lot of it into their recent series, Shakedown City. Josh Ceballos is a government accountability reporter with WLRN, who this week, with colleague Danny Rivero, unspooled how a furniture company owned by the Miami city manager's wife's family outfitted city offices with hundreds of thousands of no bid, no questions, taxpayer-funded chairs, desks, etc. Wow. It's complicated is kind of sometimes a headline there. I'm so happy that you're all here because behind the scenes of what you do, what we do, I think is really important for people to know.
Yeah.
And in fairness, how and the whys of it. So let me start with Shakedown City, which I know you all started working on over the summer. And I know this because I saw the public records requests go in, some of which have not been filled yet by the city. Sarah, Joey, pick up and run with how you even got started on this. This summer, after years of Miami drama.
I would say that this started boiling even before that, probably more than a year ago. We started
Probably
collecting.
in 1980, but we won't go
yeah,
back
fair
that
enough,
far.
right? I'd say that there was scrutiny that was bubbling around City Hall on the mayor's travel, and that became a point of interest for us, and we started collecting records more than a year ago to try to track from the police department, because he always takes police officers with him usually. We were seeing where he was going. And that coalesced with an interest that we had in appearances at high-priced events where we wondered how he got there. And Sarah really ran with that on the Formula One story in May.
Right, so this started on Miami's second annual Formula One event, Grand Prix here in 2023. And we knew that Mayor Suarez had gone in 2022. There were some unanswered questions. Mayors and other elected officials, they have to file forms to disclose if someone gives them an expensive gift. Well, Mayor Suarez didn't do that for his 2022 appearance at the Grand Prix, and so there were a lot of questions about that. And then, of course, the Miami New Times did some reporting about the World Cup, and again, Mayor Suarez ends up in Qatar at the World Cup, and no one knows, did he buy this ticket? Why was he in a box with David Beckham, who is in fact a registered lobbyist in the city of Miami? And so those were the questions that really prompted our closer look.
And I want to just really make it clear that, he says no wrongdoing, okay? But it's really important to know because it's taxpayer money, A, that's being spent. That's why. And number two, elected officials need to be fair to those who elected them, and their activities that may not be fair need to be unearthed. And so that's why, I think a lot of us get blowback from the elected officials themselves, but that's our job.
And cutting through that is incredibly hard because
hard.
You've had the experience on this program yourself where you ask the mayor a direct question and you get something else. You get an answer that is not direct. And then what we have to do is really, it's public records. So you mentioned the public records. It's extremely important that I think people understand that we had to fight with the city. We had to get lawyers involved. It's a costly endeavor.
Are fighting. It's not over.
We
yet.
are
fighting.
Yeah.
And we filed over 150 records requests with the city of Miami last year alone. Only about half of them have been fulfilled. And so we've had to get attorneys involved on at least a dozen so far. Some of those are still pending. We're talking outrageous fees, $21,000 quotes,
Records that belong to the public.
That is the
Right.
idea. They are generated by public officials, by city-paid staff with taxpayer dollars, and that makes them the public's records.
Public's record. Let me bring Josh into this. Your piece with Danny Rivero this week about furniture.
Right.
Why is that important?
So the piece centered on the city manager, Art Noriega, and his wife has a company, a family company called Pradere Manufacturing. They have several names, but that's the company that gets paid. And Pradere Manufacturing has gotten $440,000 in city contracts since Art became the city manager.
And why should we care about that?
Why should we care? Because there are ethics rules that talk about city executives and elected officials, their family members not doing business with the city that they work for, the government that they work for, because of the appearance of conflict of interest. So, I mean, to Art Noriega's defense, he says he has no involvement in any transactions with his wife's company, even though she did furnish his office to the tune of $37,000. He says he has no involvement in that, but I think when you see something that immediately hits your gut, like, oh, that's strange, that's the kind of things that we need to bring up and question for the public to be able to see, because those are their taxpayer dollars.
Not only taxpayer dollars, but ABC Co. Furniture Company, maybe they could have bid that job and gotten that business from the city, and the Friends and Family Plan, instead of the Friends and Family Plan, which we don't know yet, in fairness. But what do you make of, and I want to hear from all of you on this, what do you make of, to your point, when public officials do not answer, or when they do answer, it's a non-answer, it's a talking point. And I want to say that's become so prevalent because social media means they can get their own messages out now, and who needs the press if they don't want it. But what do you make of the stonewalling and blowback? I mean, as far as public servants goes.
So,
you see what I'm asking?
Yeah, I definitely see what you're asking, and I think, so I've been working professionally as a reporter for about a little over 3 years, and in those 3 years from the very beginning, it's like you'll call an elected official and they'll say, I have no reason to talk to you, why would I talk to you? And I think in so many of those instances, I try and tell them, if you talk to me, I can get your side of the story, and I can, elucidate this. Like, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing from the public records.
You get a complete story.
They get a complete story. I can, and maybe give you a fair shake, and you will probably be able to explain to me what seems bad, but maybe is not wrong. So when you get that blowback, when you get that stonewalling, it only kind of creates a further perception that you have something to hide, and it's unfortunate when maybe they don't.
Because we've become sort of, I feel like we've become not personally, an enemy. And it's, I tell some people, if you're a great public official, the press is your best friend. And the press is kind of essentially government watchdog, but that doesn't mean government enemy.
No, it doesn't.
How did that happen?
Well, there's always going to be, in my experience, and I've been doing this for 10 years here in Miami, there's always going to be somebody in the building, and I say the proverbial city hall, who's going to say, wait a minute, that's not right. And those folks, they come to us, and they talk to us, and they give us the real truth. Or they at least put some perspective, some context around some of these answers that we get. That, aided with the public records, and then with the third leg, which is what I would say is just showing up and being there. We know a lot about that. Just showing up and saying wherever the public official is going to be, whatever their agenda might be or their purpose for that appearance might be, we're going to ask the questions that we think are important at the moment.
You all did that in City Hall, and the mayor came up and said, make an appointment. You know the protocol. Well, that might be his protocol, but do you have protocol?
Well, sure. We tried to make that appointment a number of times, and he did not ever schedule the meeting. He had said that to us repeatedly, make an appointment, I'll answer your questions. We emailed once a week, sometimes even more than that, trying to schedule an appointment, and it never happens. So what we do is what Joey said. We go to public events where the mayor is going to make public appearances, and we try to ask our questions then, because the public does deserve answers to these questions about who was paying, what their interests were, and what the mayor is doing. He's a part-time mayor, and the rest of his time when he's not at City Hall.
We need to take a break, but I just want to make mention, in fairness, the mayor did come on our program. He has answered some of your questions. He's gone and done interviews with other people, but really has not essentially provided concrete evidence of the answers that you had been asking. So anyway, with that said, quick toss to break. You get first question when we come back. Stay tuned. We are back with South Florida journalist Sarah Blasky and Joey Fletches from the Miami Herald, Josh Ceballos from WLRN, all people who cover Miami in and out. And I want to kind of blow it up in the few minutes we have left. Josh, Miami has been a drama story before all of our lifetimes. Mm-hmm. Why, in a city that somebody in the back room played the theme from The Godfather when they were installing their own handpicked police chief?
Right.
No offense or disrespect to anybody. Where is this culture coming from? Is this like so baked into the DNA that it's so normal that no one realizes it's so not right?
It's almost like a curse, like a generational curse. But I think, without giving a definitive answer, because I think there's a lot of parts to it, in my eyes, part of the issue in Miami is sort of this, you have people in the city commission who have been in city politics for decades, whose families have been in city politics or Florida politics for decades, or who are connected to families. It's this dynastic thing. So I think when you have all of this entrenchment, this long-time entrenchment, you have people who think, well, I am going to do what I want, or I may do things that may not seem so ethical, and they feel that they can because they've been there for so long and they're not going to get removed.
Kind of an entitlement?
Perhaps it's like, it's people parking on the street in Hialeah taken up to the umpteenth degree because who's going to say anything? I've been here forever.
So, we talked during the commercial break. There are 5 commissioners and the mayor, but 5 commissioners vote. 2 of them are brand new. Elected just this last cycle, and for the first time, it's not a majority, but there is a significant number of people changed on that commission. Do you think the reporting had anything to do with that?
It's possible. These 2 commissioners did run on platforms that included anti-corruption, change at City Hall, more transparency. They've been quick to respond to some of the reporting that we've done,
right.
And to make public comments about it, whereas before I think that the MO at City Hall is typically to ignore the press because they're the haters, or they're paid actors, which is a common refrain that makes no sense. But I think that it's potentially a moment where there could be some change that's cementing in City Hall. And it's also buttressed by the fact that City Hall is getting a lot of scrutiny from outside agencies. There are multiple investigations happening.
Yeah, but because of the reporting.
And there's a lot of momentum, for sure.
So, Sarah, something he said, so there are 2 new commissioners that voters voted in, but only 1 in 5 Miami voters voted them in. The turnout was horrible. Do people care? Is it the lack of attention and care from voters that really lay the groundwork for things to go awry?
I think there's a lot of disillusionment amongst voters in Miami who see time and again elected officials who they elect. They think they're going to be different. Mayor Suarez is an example of this. He was elected, people are excited. He was young, he had energy, he had all of these things. And now there are all of these questions, including an FBI investigation looking into potential bribery with a local developer. That's very disillusioning. And so voters who have been here.
How do you know that?
How do we know
that there is a verified FBI investigation?
So we, of course, have sources. Can't tell you more than that.
No,
on the air.
understood. But that is a question.
Of course.
Because I've heard the mayor say, I've never been talked to by the FBI.
Of course, and it's a legitimate question. And so one thing that I will point out is that recently, in the past week, there has been a filing by the SEC against Rishi Kapoor, the developer who did pay Mayor Suarez $10,000 a month. And this has always been a joint investigation between the SEC and the FBI, and these investigations were mentioned in that filing. So you do have a public record that has gone into this now. But of course, this is based on sources that the Miami Herald has cultivated over time. And, we were able to report from multiple sources at that time in June, I believe, right before his run for presidency was announced, that the FBI had indeed opened this joint investigation with the SEC into these payments and whether or not they constituted bribery.
So we're focusing on Miami because you've done or are doing this incredible investigative series, and you have this article out today. But Miami is this big in the grand scheme of South Florida. Have you? I know you're the Miami government beat reporter. Have you been doing anything else in? You mentioned Hialeah. I don't want to pick on any cities. Miami Beach.
I grew up in Hialeah,
Fort
so
Lauderdale,
I'm allowed.
Coral Springs.
Right. So yeah, that's definitely when I started this job as a local government accountability reporter. I thought a lot about wanting to go outside the city of Miami because you're right, city of Miami is small. It is one of the biggest money drivers for the county. It's one of the major cities of the county.
It has sort of this outside reputation.
Outside reputation, even though people confuse it with South Beach. But I do think that it's important to look out at the other, the 34 municipalities out there, be that Opelika, Homestead, you know, places that don't always get a lot of attention. But I think the city of Miami is just sort of this critical mass of issues that make it attractive to look into.
Yeah. You know, and I think to your point, local reporting, there's not the resources, they're not the people, so there aren't local government reporters, and that's a big problem. We need more. We need more time together, and I hope you'll be back, Sarah Blasky. Joey Fletches, Josh Shabayos, great to have you for our Reporter Roundtable. Goes fast, right?
Yeah. Thanks for having us. Thank you for having us.
Of course, thanks.